William J. Collins, Jr., Lieutenant, United States Naval Reserve. I'm I'm ragging on, but you know, it's enjoyable to talk about it. I made reference to the change of command in Oslo. If I may, there's a story I can tell you there. It's human relations. We had a lieutenant commander who was the navigator on board the USS Newport News. His name was Lieutenant Commander Franklin F. McKenzie. He was a bachelor. He was a lifelong sailor. Good man, don't get me wrong. But he was a stickler with respect to what he had to do. And of course, as a navigator, he not only navigated the ship, but he was in charge of making sure that everybody who had to do with driving that ship, especially the enlisted people, knew what they were doing and they knew how to do it well, which in communications language meant that those people who spoke on the public address systems of the Newport News did it properly. We were preparing for this change of command ceremony. Change of command ceremony in NATO in those days, because France was still in NATO then, and all of the other NATO countries, Canada, Britain, Germany, everybody, was in the harbor at Oslo, Norway. And if you were at quarters, which is the beginning of the day when they raised the flag, and you were on the open weather deck, as they called it, you would be at attention for 20 minutes while they played everybody's national anthem. But Lieutenant Commander McKenzie was trying to prepare all of his enlisted folks on the quarterdeck and the afterdeck to do their jobs properly when these dignitaries came aboard. Remember, I said we were in the harbor at Oslo. The King of Norway was going to be attending, and he knew that. We had dignitaries from all over the NATO countries, heads of state, undersecretaries, people like President-day John Kerry, our Secretary of State. We had prime ministers, we had dignitaries of high rank from all over the NATO countries coming aboard the USS Newport News. You talk about spit and polish. Everything that was brass was polished. The guns were covered with tints, and they had lights hanging off of them, and it was amazing. It was amazing. Lieutenant Commander Franklin F. McKenzie was out there every day training his people on how to do things properly. Among the things that you have to do properly is when a dignitary arrives, you announce it on the 1MC. 1MC is the public address system. That's the one that goes all over the whole ship. And it would be even heard on the dock because it is the public address system for the ship, and they called it 1MC. He was training his bosun mates of the watch to make sure that they identified properly. And King Olaf was the King of Norway. He was King Olaf the Fifth, but it was always written in Roman numerals. King Olaf, Roman numeral 5. The bosun mate of the watch was doing his duty, properly dressed, everything was spit and polished. Mackenzie's standing right there. Here comes the King of Norway, riding up the pier, getting ready for the change of command ceremony. And Mackenzie prods the bosun mate of the watch. He said, "Make your announcement." And he blows on his pipe, doo-wee, you heard all of that. And the bosun mate of the watch says, "King Olaf the V arriving." Mackenzie went nuts. instead of saying King Olaf the Fifth, So I went all through that, but that was just a funny story that happens in your daily Navy life, and nobody on board forgot it because it happened to Mackenzie. And you have to remember, I said how meticulous he was. And all of us who were junior officers, I was still an ensign then, we just laughed. But that was one of the humorous stories. And the ship was in the Caribbean a lot, and we were in Puerto Rico a lot, and we were in Germany. We just went. We were in New York Harbor and we had a Marine contingent on board the USS Newport News Marine drill team, and we were on the Tonight Show with the drill team with Johnny Carson. And my first exposure to Admiral McCain was that we were in New York Harbor on the way to Newport, and it was a bad storm at sea plus all kinds of fog. And so Admiral McCain issued orders to everybody to stay put. Well, we were communications watch officers. It was our job to communicate all of that. So we were doing it, and of course, as we did it, we saw various people, and I became face to face with Admiral McCain, John McCain's father, and it's just something that you never forget, because that's history in the making, you know.